why didn't I smell it earlier? So then I started looking around, and there he starts up the hill over there. And like I say, he walked like an old man, a tired old man. He took his right hand, reached out, put it on the tree, and all I could think of, well, I need to go. I mean, he kind of scared me, but he didn't make nothing threatening. He just mind his own business and just going on with what he wanted to do. I left my grease gun, and when I seen him, I decided the grease gun wasn't that important. I thought I was going to leave it, and we walked up today, and it's laying on the mountainside covered with grass and debris. In my mind, I can picture what an old man like is walking up a hill, and that's what he did. It's the same way. He just like he was tired. And he was in no big hurry. He didn't seem like he was spooked by me, and I know he knew I was there, but he didn't pay me no attention.
There are places in North America where the forest stretches farther than the eye can see. Places where roads disappear, where phone signals vanish, and where a person can walk for days without seeing another human being. For generations, stories have emerged from these landscapes about something large, intelligent, and strangely human. A creature said to walk on two legs, covered in hair, powerful enough to break branches high above the ground, yet quiet enough to disappear into the forest before anyone can get close. Most people know it by one name, Sasquatch, or more famously, Bigfoot. To skeptics, Sasquatch is one of the greatest modern myths ever created, a mixture of misidentified animals, folklore, publicity stunts, and carefully constructed hoaxes. But to believers, the mystery is not so easy to dismiss. They point to eyewitness testimony, unexplained footprints, strange recordings, and reports from hunters, loggers, police officers, campers, and ordinary families who claim they encountered something they could not identify. But there is an even more disturbing question. If an animal as large as Sasquatch really exists, how could it remain hidden in the modern world? And according to one controversial conspiracy theory, what if the reason definitive evidence has never reached the public is because someone doesn't want it to? Tonight, we investigate the history, the evidence, the hoaxes, the frightening encounters, and the conspiracy theories surrounding one of the world's most enduring mysteries. And stay until the end, because the final explanation may actually be more disturbing than the supernatural theories. If you enjoy documentaries about unexplained creatures, hidden history, conspiracy theories, strange disappearances, and mysteries that still have no definitive answer, subscribe to the channel. And before we begin, write your opinion in the comments. Do you believe Sasquatch could actually exist? The modern image of Bigfoot may seem like a product of 20th century American culture, but stories involving mysterious human-like beings living in remote wilderness areas are much older. Various indigenous peoples across North America have traditions involving powerful beings associated with forests, mountains, and isolated regions. These traditions are extremely diverse, and they should not all be treated as descriptions of one single creature. But they reveal something important. The idea of mysterious human-like beings existing beyond settled human territory did not begin with television documentaries, internet forums, or tabloid newspapers. Even the name Sasquatch has indigenous linguistic roots and is generally connected to a word from the Halkomelem language of the Pacific Northwest. But the creature would eventually become internationally famous under another name, Bigfoot, and one event in California helped transform the legend into a modern phenomenon. In 1958, workers near Bluff Creek in Northern California reportedly discovered enormous human-like footprints footprints around a road construction site. The prints were far larger than normal human feet. The local story reached newspapers. Reporters began using a simple but unforgettable nickname, Bigfoot. The name spread, and suddenly, stories about giant creatures living in American forests had a new identity. But there was a major problem. Decades later, relatives of construction worker Ray Wallace claimed that some of the famous footprints connected to Wallace had actually been created using carved wooden feet. For skeptics, this was devastating. It suggested that at least part of the early Bigfoot phenomenon had been built on a hoax. But the revelation didn't destroy the legend, because by that time, hundreds of other people were already reporting sightings of their own. And less than a decade after the Bluff Creek footprints, a few seconds of film would become the most famous piece of Sasquatch evidence in history. October 20th, 1967. Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin were traveling through the Bluff Creek region of Northern California. According to their account, they unexpectedly encountered a large, hair-covered figure walking across an open area near the creek. Patterson grabbed a 16mm camera and began filming. The resulting footage lasted less than 1 minute, but more than half a century later, people are still analyzing it. The figure walks across the landscape on two legs. Its arms appear unusually long. Its body looks extremely heavy. Then, for a brief moment, it turns toward the camera. That single moment became one of the most recognizable images in cryptozoology. Skeptics have a simple explanation: a human being wearing a costume. And it's an explanation that cannot be dismissed. Costumes existed in 1967. Hoaxes existed. And Patterson himself was deeply interested in Bigfoot before filming the creature. But supporters of the footage point toward other details: the apparent proportions of the body, the movement of the legs, the length of the arms, the stride, and what some researchers interpret as muscle movement beneath the hair. Different people have claimed over the years to know how the film was created. Some even claimed a costume was involved, but no explanation has been universally accepted. And so, more than 50 years later, the Patterson-Gimlin footage remains exactly where it started. Not definitive proof, but not universally explained either. And strangely, the famous film isn't even the reason many believers are convinced Sasquatch exists. For them, the strongest evidence is something much larger. The witnesses. Thousands of alleged Sasquatch sightings have been reported across North America, particularly in the Pacific Northwest, Washington, Oregon, Northern California, and parts of Canada. Many reports are impossible to investigate. Some can almost certainly be explained by known animals. A black bear standing upright can look surprisingly human from a distance. Darkness can distort size, fog can distort shape, and fear can affect memory. But other witnesses claim they observed something at much closer distances. They describe massive shoulders, long arms, dark, reddish or brown hair, and a face that appeared neither completely human nor completely ape. There is another strange detail repeated in many reports. Witnesses don't simply describe seeing an animal, they describe the feeling that the animal was studying them. Hunters have reported figures partially hiding behind trees. Campers claim something followed them without approaching the fire. Drivers describe large upright figures crossing isolated roads in only a few steps. None of those stories proves Sasquatch exists. Eyewitness testimony can be unreliable. Memory changes. Distance creates mistakes. Fear exaggerates details. But when researchers examine large numbers of reports, certain patterns begin to appear, and some of those patterns are disturbing. One detail appears repeatedly in alleged Sasquatch encounters: silence. Witnesses describe walking through a forest filled with normal sounds: birds, insects, small animals, wind moving through leaves, and then everything stops. The forest becomes completely quiet. There are natural explanations for this. Animals can become quiet quiet when predators approach. Environmental conditions can change quickly, and frightened humans may suddenly become much more aware of the absence of background noise. But witnesses often describe the silence immediately before something unusual happens. Then comes another commonly reported detail: a powerful smell. Wet animal fur, rotting meat, garbage, sewage. Strong animal odors are obviously not unusual in forests, but according to some reports, the smell seems to move and then disappear, sometimes without the witness ever seeing what caused it. And then there are the knocks. Bigfoot investigators have reported hearing powerful knocking sounds coming from deep inside forests. One sharp strike against a tree, then silence, another strike from farther away. Some researchers believe these sounds could represent communication between Sasquatch individuals. The theory is controversial. Trees naturally crack, branches fall, humans create noise, and many known animals can produce sounds people may not immediately recognize. There is currently no established scientific evidence proving that mysterious wood knocks are produced by an unknown primate, but some witness accounts are difficult to forget. 3 knocks from one direction, 3 knocks from another, then another sound from behind the witness, almost as though several individuals were communicating. Imagine standing alone in a remote forest after sunset. Your vehicle is miles away, the light is disappearing, and something you cannot see seems to be moving around you. At that moment, whether the explanation is Bigfoot, another animal, or simply falling branches, the fear becomes very real. Footprints remain the most common form of physical evidence associated with Sasquatch. Hundreds of casts have been produced from alleged tracks found in soil, mud, sand, and snow. Some prints are enormous, much larger than the average human foot. Certain researchers claim that some tracks contain anatomical details that would be difficult for an inexperienced hoaxer to reproduce. One controversial example is the proposed mid-tarsal break. Some Bigfoot researchers argue that certain alleged tracks suggest flexibility through the middle of the foot, something different from typical human foot mechanics. If authentic, supporters say this could indicate a creature with a different walking anatomy. Skeptics strongly disagree. They argue that unclear prints in soft ground can easily be misinterpreted, and sophisticated hoaxers can create far more convincing tracks than most people imagine. There is also an unavoidable fact. Some Bigfoot footprints have definitely been faked. The question isn't whether fake Bigfoot tracks exist. They do. The real question is, are all of them fake? Some alleged Sasquatch evidence cannot be seen. It can only be heard. Across remote wilderness areas, researchers and campers have recorded unusual vocalizations. Some sound like long howls, others resemble screams, and a few sound almost like a strange form of speech. Among the most famous are recordings commonly called the Sierra Sounds, captured in California during the 1970s. Supporters have argued that parts of the recordings contain vocal patterns unlike ordinary human speech. Skeptics remain unconvinced, and there is an important reason to be cautious. Known animals can produce absolutely terrifying noises. Foxes can sound almost human. Mountain lions can produce screams capable of frightening experienced hikers. Owls can create bizarre calls, and sounds traveling across valleys can become distorted. A perfectly normal animal, heard from far away, can sound completely unfamiliar. But imagine hearing one of those sounds in person, miles from civilization. In complete darkness, a scream comes from one mountain, then another answers from somewhere behind you. You cannot see anything. You don't know how far away it is, and you don't know whether it's getting closer. For many witnesses, that's where the legend stops feeling like entertainment. There is one question skeptics have asked for decades, and it may be the strongest argument against the existence of Sasquatch. Where is the body? If Sasquatch is a biological animal, it has to die. And if there is a breeding population, there cannot be only one. There would have to be many individuals spread across generations. That should leave evidence evidence: bones, teeth, hair, tissue, DNA, waste, and eventually a body. Supporters argue that animal remains disappear surprisingly quickly in wilderness environments. Scavengers consume them, weather destroys them, bones become scattered, vegetation covers them, and even the bodies of known large animals are rarely discovered by ordinary hikers. All of that is true, but skeptics respond with another problem: trail cameras. Thousands upon thousands of cameras now exist in North American forests. Hunters use them, researchers use them, wildlife agencies use them. Yet there is still no universally accepted clear image of Sasquatch, no confirmed DNA sample, no verified skeleton, no living specimen. For mainstream science, this absence matters enormously. But according to one of the darkest Bigfoot conspiracy theories, bodies have been discovered. We simply never get to see them. For decades, rumors have circulated claiming that government agencies already know Sasquatch exists. According to believers in this theory, authorities deliberately suppress evidence. But why? One proposed reason is economics. Imagine scientists officially announcing the discovery of an intelligent, endangered primate living in North American forests. Large areas of wilderness might require new environmental protection. Logging operations could face restrictions. Mining projects might be affected. Development could be challenged. Tourism could change overnight. Some conspiracy theorists believe governments and private industries would have powerful financial incentives to keep such a discovery quiet. Other theories go much further. There are unverified stories claiming government personnel have removed Sasquatch bodies after forest fires. Others describe alleged vehicle collisions, followed by mysterious officials arriving and taking control of the scene. Some supposed former military personnel have told stories involving creatures encountered in restricted wilderness areas. But there is a major problem. There is currently no publicly verified evidence proving the existence of an organized government program designed to hide Sasquatch. No authenticated document has conclusively demonstrated such a program. No confirmed body has been proven to have been confiscated. No official investigation has established a cover-up, and that distinction is extremely important. A conspiracy theory is not evidence that a conspiracy actually exists, but the theory survives because it offers an explanation for the mystery's greatest weakness. Why is there never definitive evidence for someone who already believes in the cover-up? Every missing body can be explained. Every missing photograph becomes suspicious. Every government denial becomes part of the conspiracy, and that makes the theory almost impossible to disprove. But even that is not the strangest explanation people have proposed. There is a completely different side of the Sasquatch mystery, one rejected by many traditional Bigfoot researchers: the paranormal theory. Some alleged witnesses have described unexplained lights appearing near locations associated with Sasquatch activity. Lights between trees, objects in the sky, electronic equipment malfunctioning, and in some of the most extreme accounts, creatures apparently disappearing without leaving a trail. These stories have inspired theories connecting Sasquatch with UFOs. Others suggest something even stranger: interdimensional travel. According to this theory, Sasquatch isn't simply hiding in the forest. It may somehow move between different realities. There is no scientific evidence supporting this claim, and even many people who believe Sasquatch is a real biological animal reject it completely. But paranormal stories continue to appear. Another recurring claim involves glowing eyes. Witnesses sometimes describe red, orange, or yellow eyes visible in darkness. Eye shine itself is completely normal in many animals. Light reflects from specialized structures inside their eyes, but some Sasquatch witnesses insist the eyes appeared to glow without an obvious external light source. Again, this is testimony, not proof, but it demonstrates how far the Sasquatch Sasquatch phenomenon has expanded beyond the search for an unknown animal. It has become a mystery that combines zoology, folklore, UFO culture, conspiracy theories, and human fear of the wilderness. Perhaps the most disturbing theory requires nothing supernatural. No UFOs, no portals, no secret laboratories. It simply proposes that Sasquatch is intelligent, extremely intelligent. If the creature were simply another large mammal wandering randomly through the wilderness, avoiding humans for generations would seem increasingly difficult. But what if Sasquatch deliberately avoids us? What if it understands that roads mean humans, that cameras mean humans, that vehicles mean humans, that gunshots mean danger? Wild primates are capable of complex social behavior. Great apes can use tools. They can recognize threats. They can communicate. They can learn by observation. Now imagine an unknown primate species that evolved under constant pressure to avoid humans. It wouldn't need to understand exactly how a camera works. It would simply need to recognize unfamiliar objects and avoid them. Some alleged Bigfoot behaviors become more disturbing when viewed through this theory. Witnesses describe being watched from behind trees, rocks thrown near campsites, branches broken, knocking sounds following hikers, figures remaining just beyond the reach of artificial light. Some researchers interpret rock throwing as territorial behavior, not necessarily an attempt to attack. A warning: leave. Of course, without a confirmed animal to study, none of this can be proven. But if Sasquatch is intelligent, then perhaps researchers have been asking the wrong question. Instead of asking, how has no one found Sasquatch? Maybe the question should be, how good is Sasquatch at avoiding us? One of the strongest natural explanations for Sasquatch sightings is also one of the simplest: bears. American black bears are common throughout many regions where Bigfoot sightings occur. They can stand upright. They can walk short distances on two legs. Their fur varies in color, and under poor lighting conditions, an upright bear can appear surprisingly human. Bear footprints can also become distorted. Front and rear prints may overlap, creating shapes that inexperienced observers could interpret as a single, enormous foot. This almost certainly explains some Bigfoot reports, but believers argue it cannot explain all of them. They point to witnesses who claim they observed creatures walking upright for extended distances. Others describe shoulders, arms, and facial structures they insist were unlike any bear. But once again, without physical evidence, investigators are forced to depend on memory, and memory is complicated. A witness can be completely sincere and still be wrong. There is no serious investigation of Sasquatch without discussing hoaxes. Fake footprints exist. Costumes have been filmed. Images have been manipulated. Videos have been staged. Stories have been invented. And every successful hoax causes damage far beyond one fake photograph. Because the next time a genuine mystery appears, people already assume it's fake. This creates an unusual problem. Bigfoot has become so deeply associated with jokes and costumes that sincere witnesses may hesitate to report what they saw. Some alleged witnesses say they remained silent for years. Hunters, police officers, military veterans, outdoor workers, people who believe publicly discussing a giant, unidentified creature could damage their reputation. Could social embarrassment prevent potentially valuable reports from being investigated? Possibly. But this does not transform witness testimony into scientific evidence. Science needs something independently testable: a body, DNA, clear biological material, something researchers can examine without relying on a story. And so far, Sasquatch has always remained just beyond that line. After decades of investigations, arguments, documentaries, books, and expeditions, there is one conclusion we can safely make: the Sasquatch phenomenon is real. That statement does not mean the creature itself has been proven real. It means people genuinely report encounters. People genuinely discover strange footprints. Unusual sounds are genuinely recorded. Hoaxes genuinely happen. Animals are genuinely misidentified and unexplained cases genuinely remain, maybe the mistake is assuming every Bigfoot report has the same explanation. Some sightings may be bears, others may involve humans. Some are almost certainly hoaxes. Some may result from darkness, distance, fear, and expectation. And perhaps a small number cannot currently be explained. That final category is where Sasquatch survives, not inside the cases we solve, inside the cases we can't. And consider one final possibility. Imagine Sasquatch is real, not paranormal, not interdimensional, not connected to UFOs, not the product of a secret laboratory, just an undiscovered animal, an intelligent primate living in remote forests. If that were true, then its ability to remain largely unseen would tell us something remarkable. It may not simply be difficult to find. It may actively avoid us. Humans have spent centuries expanding deeper into wilderness. We created roads, settlements, logging sites, hiking trails, trail cameras, aircraft, satellites, and drones. But enormous areas of wilderness remain difficult to explore at ground level. A satellite can photograph a forest, but it cannot clearly see beneath every tree. A drone can cross a mountain, but it cannot investigate every cave. A trail camera can monitor one location, but it only records what walks in front of it. An intelligent animal wouldn't need to understand our technology. It would only need to understand one simple pattern. Where humans appear, danger usually follows. Maybe that's why the creature is almost always seen at a distance. Maybe that's why encounters are brief. Maybe that's why witnesses describe something watching from the tree line. Or perhaps Sasquatch reveals something completely different, something about us. Human beings evolved in a world filled with predators. We are extremely sensitive to faces, movement, and shapes in darkness. A shadow can become a person. A branch can become footsteps. A bear can become a monster. And when we enter a dark forest, we enter a place filled with incomplete information. Our imagination completes what our eyes cannot see. Perhaps Sasquatch continues to exist because the wilderness still contains places where modern human certainty disappears. Places where phones stop working, where artificial light becomes weak, where we suddenly realize just how small we are. And then, every once in a while, a witness tells a story. They remember the height, the shoulders, the arms, the way it walked, and most importantly, the moment it stopped, turned, and looked directly at them. Then the witness says the same sentence investigators have heard countless times. I know what a bear looks like. That sentence proves absolutely nothing, but it keeps the mystery alive. So what exactly is Sasquatch? An undiscovered species, a collection of bears, hoaxes, and mistaken identities, a legend created and expanded across generations, a mystery protected by government secrecy, or could something genuinely unknown still be moving through the remote forests of North America? For now, science has no confirmed Sasquatch specimen, no verified body, no universally accepted DNA, and no evidence strong enough to establish the creature as a recognized species. What remains are photographs, footprints, recordings, witnesses, rumors, and millions of acres of wilderness capable of hiding secrets. Now we want to hear from you. Which explanation do you believe? Is Sasquatch real? Is it simply an enormous collection of mistaken sightings and hoaxes? Or do you believe authorities may know more than they publicly admit? Write your theory in the comments. And if you had a strange experience in a forest or wilderness area, tell us what happened. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next investigation. And don't leave when this video ends. Check out the other documentaries on the channel where we investigate mysterious disappearances, unexplained creatures, disturbing recordings, conspiracy theories, and cases that still have no satisfying explanation. Because sometimes the most frightening mysteries aren't hiding in another world. They may be hiding in places we've already explored, watching, waiting, and staying just far enough away to remain unidentified. aside, one final question. If Sasquatch is only a myth, why do so many people who claim to have seen one say the same thing, that after the encounter, they never wanted to return to that forest again?